What's up, guys? I'm Greg Hunter, and I'm usually on the other side of this camera. However, today I'm talking on a topic that's really important to me, the Farm Bill. The Farm Bill. Maybe you think it doesn't concern you since you're not a farmer, but that's just the thing. It's jam-packed full of a lot of other shit that has nothing to do with farming. So listen up. Most of us live in a Hamiltonian version of what the Founding Fathers envisioned the United States to evolve into. However, across sprawling fields of spotty cell phone service and highways with no exits, Thomas Jefferson's ideal America remains. Farms, ranches, 40-acre plots, and an agricultural abyss most of us city slickers can't understand. And after analyzing the Farm Bill, it seems that our congressmen and women don't realize that food stamps don't grow on trees. This is the Farm Bill, a dueling set of time-sensitive patchwork legislators are treating like a box truck crossing the border, trying to jam-pack it full of amendments before it crosses Trump's desk. In reality, the agricultural context of both of these bills are relatively agreed upon in both the House and Senate, which is why legislators are looking at this like a bona fide opportunity to attach their political demands, all while this looming legislation keeps farmers and ranchers in limbo deep into the growing season. There are two versions of the Farm Bill. The House Farm Bill, which passed on June 21st by a razor-thin margin, that's so jam-packed full of food stamp provisions that it might as well be called the Food Stamp Bill. Food stamps account for 70% of the House Farm Bill's cost. It calls for tighter eligibility criteria that would effectively remove 400,000 households from food stamps, as well as affect nearly 6 million American workers with new, tighter work restrictions. Nobody wants to be on food stamps, and the few lousy freeloaders that are scamming the food stamp system to remain eligible should be addressed, kind of like the Senate Farm Bill does. The Senate Farm Bill calls for administration changes to combat fraud, which makes sense because this bill should be addressing the hardworking Americans that are left, the farmers, not fighting the few lousy freeloaders that are scamming the food stamp system. You want a stronger America? Embrace the ideas of the man who wrote the damn Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson envisioned an agrarian country where Americans owned their own land and therefore controlled their own destinies. We should support and encourage young Americans to invest in buying land and working it, whether it's in conservation, farming, fishing, or ranching. And that's where the House bill didn't totally drop the ball. They did establish scholarships at nearly 1,900 land-grant institutions for students pursuing careers in agriculture, which I hope the Senate bill will include. However, the House bill slashes $800 million from the Conservation Stewardship Program, so in my opinion, it's effectively a wash. The last little bit of discrepancies between the House bill and the Senate bill is all on crop insurance, all right? So basically, despite the fact that the House bill is so concerned with taking freeloaders off of food stamps, they're all for allowing first cousins, nieces, and nephews of farmers with huge crop insurance policies to essentially receive government subsidies if the crops go bad. So Cousin Eddie can just have a free ride on Farmer Joe's government subsidies if the crops go bad. The Senate bill, guided by Senator Chuck Grassley, is looking to lock in clear language in order to safeguard the subsidies to individuals that are actually actively engaged in participating in the farming. Makes sense. Last but not least is the Hemp Farming Act, which is included on the Senate Farm Bill. It will end the outdated and ridiculous anti-hemp laws that have been around since bureaucratic reefer madness outlawed the crop in 1937. The same crop that produced the paper Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence on, the same crop that he grew at his home in Monticello, and the same crop that your first president George Washington grew at his home. In fact, the first 13 colonies mandated by law that farmers grow the Indian hemp seed, and you could even pay your taxes with bundles of hemp. But I'm not here to pitch you on how this crop uses 2 times less water than cotton and is 2 times stronger. I'm just trying to remind you that we live in a country that outlawed the very fabric it drafted its independence on. Let's not forget that time is kind of like a game of telephone, and the truth is often not the most recent thing you heard. So what should you do? Well, the House already sent the Farm Bill to the Senate, so call your senators, let them know that you support the Farm Bill and our American farmers. And then when they send it back to the House, call your congressmen and women and let them know that you support farmers and this Farm Bill. And when they hopefully get their shit together and pass it, we'll be one step closer to keeping America great. Because that's what farmers do. Keep America great. Keep on riding your John Deere. Boom.